Lou Thesz faithfully defended his world heavyweight championship.
Rogers strut.
Kowalski's got him right where he wants him.
Dory Funk Jr. wanting that world heavyweight championship.
10 pounds of pure gold.
Simon Felder's Dusty Rhodes has just become the world heavyweight wrestling champion.
Presenting the greatest organization in wrestling history.
We always deliver on our promises at the National Wrestling Alliance.
Yeah, but pretty hard, and look at what are you gonna work now? Oh!
Hey everybody, it's Durger time. Thank you for joining me once again for another episode of NWA, the Dynasty. We had a pretty eventful show last episode. We had Cody have his Homelander moment and completely snapped. Poor Mance Warner getting the short end of the stick there. Still a little upset at us, but yeah, he'll live. He's irritated. We could always deal with that by just kind of giving him a little bit of a bonus, and he might be fine with that. We could also give him some paid time off too, which might alleviate some of that. We'll usually $2,500 for these guys is a sweet spot. Let's do that and result in boost morale. He's happy. He's fine. He's like, yeah, cool, no problem. We no longer have any morale issues, so totally fine there. And yeah, some of our other talent that isn't on TV yet, like Lena here, Matt Cardona, who's injured. They're fine. So we just have to kind of balance some of those guys out. I think, I didn't look at medical. I'm curious when some of our guys are coming back here. Cardona is out for like 2 months, but he's on a contract. But we could pay for his surgery, but I'm fine with him being out for 2 months. Poor Matt Breeze here, poor Tyler Breeze, out from a concussion for 46 days. Hopefully comes back fine. An unfortunate part of our tag team division, not really having an opportunity there. That's certainly a bummer. Now, some of you eagle-eyed viewers have noticed that a few people were up for grabs and were saying, man, I would really like, let's say, Josh Alexander to join the NWA. Yeah, absolutely. Unfortunately, our buddies over at the WWE have been going on a hiring binge. And if you look here, they have just grabbed everybody. EC3's back in. Leah Rush's back in. Shane Taylor's over at WWE. Big Cass, obviously, we said. Braun Strowman's back. Tucker's back. Josh Alexander's went over there. Matt Taven went over there. Vincent Effie went over to WWE. So they're hiring. That puts us under a lot of pressure because all of our roster, if we were to go to our top talent here, look at our major stars, everybody here is working just under a, not even an exclusive contract or just written contracts. They're working in multiple places. Contract's 4 months remaining, 6 months. They're on a written contract, but they're never going to sign an exclusive with us. If we wanted to do a per show, per month exclusive written, they're not going to do it, I don't think. Yeah, I'm not interested in signing an exclusive deal. It doesn't matter what price you give me. You say, I'm going to give you $800,000 a month. You're going to no, I'm not interested. I don't believe you. It's basically what they say. Is like, I do not believe that you can honor this contract. I am not going to let it go. So that's going to be that way until we move up in size, which means that a lot of these guys could be potentially poached by AEW and New Japan Pro Wrestling or WWE. And it certainly looks like WWE is playing Hungry Hippo here and is gobbling up talent. So we'll have to keep that in mind. But the thing about the NWA Dynasty, we're rebuilding the alliance, and we know that things are ever changing, ever flowing. We have our alliance titles. These can be taken away from us at any time by our one other alliance member, Major League Wrestling. We're going to look at maybe adding more to the alliance shortly. to start to build it up. Right now, we just wanted to establish these guys, and we did. Interestingly enough, they've not had any borrows of them over at MLW, which is kind of interesting. Usually, you would bring them over to utilize those alliance titles. Kind of curious why they haven't yet. That's okay for us, though, obviously, because it allows us to pretty freely book these titles as we wish. Of course, they could change hands at the other title, at the other alliance members at any time. So we have to be mindful of that. But that's part of the fun, is kind of reacting to that. I'm not going to try to do any hot shot things where, you know, it won't happen. But for some reason, like Cody loses the title over MLW, we're not gonna hot shot it back on. We're gonna turn that into a story. It allows sort of that randomness to kind of play in and us to kind of react to it. So that's kind of the fun. For that nitty gritty total control, we have our own titles. Right now, we're obviously working towards crowning our television title champion. But as I kind of had said earlier, I don't want just shadow duplicates of the titles that we already have. So I don't want to just have like a television tag, a television women's. I want all our titles to have something unique about them, maybe a gimmick, maybe something different. So, you know, maybe a women's tag instead of a women's single title, right? Or a trios title instead of another tag title. You know, something that shifts things up a little bit. Perhaps some kind of like X Division title with a, you know, we had a really cool gimmick with the X Division, the next gen title. Maybe we bring a new title in similar to that, where it's always on the line by pinfall in any match regardless, and that kind of thing. That makes it kind of dynamic and interesting. But we'll start to build up more of those over time. Right now, we're going to work slowly to build up our television title. Obviously, our tournament is still kicking off. Lance Archer in the lead with 2 points. But anybody's game right now, except for maybe Colby Carino, is looking dangerously close to kind of being eliminated from this tournament, because he is at 3 out of his potential 9 matches that are already gone. Certainly he could come back, but he's kind of at bat here and in a difficult position. So some guys in a difficult position, some guys in an early lead, everybody else kind of roughly even, and no real standouts here yet. So certainly a difficult position for him, but by the end of it, we will crown a television champion. Looking at our alliance, seeing who might be interested in being invited. Obviously, right now we're looking at, you know, USA only, as until eventually we branch out a little bit further, start looking at some Japanese, some European, you know, potential grabs. Some of these smaller companies that we've added to the game may make good partners, but not yet. We're going to kind of see how they do. You know, Championship Wrestling, traditionally a member might not be a bad idea. But, you know, we're going to be looking around. Somebody like Impact might be a really big get for us to join. They do not seem to be in an alliance currently, I don't believe. Whereas like Ring of Honor, I believe, is with AEW. Not sure what the situation with Impact is. They're already in an alliance, so they would not be able to join, actually, no matter what. Terminus has talent. You know, what we would look for is we're looking for ones that are really on the rise and are really doing very well and may have talent that we can utilize in regions that we're not in right now. Right now, MLW is probably a fairly solid first entrant into our organization, but we're going to keep an eye on these other ones as we kind of build up and try to expand a little bit. someone like Shine might not be a bad one for just some of the women's division. I don't know if they're part of a... they could join us. Might not be a bad option to sort of bring in some people. Alternatively, also looking at like Japan, there's some big gets out there that potentially could be interesting. Looking out there, obviously we're not going to get New Japan because they're already in an alliance with AEW. But 0-1, which traditionally was a NWA Pan-Pacific offshoot of the NWA, would probably be a good get. The issue right now about going abroad is just, them not having any real... Our talent not really having any popularity over there and theirs over here. We would have to find somebody that's really substantially great and build them up. Because if you look here, a lot of these guys do not have any or very little experience in America. Asuka here has some, spent 5 years, and she's got, some great technical skills here. But language barrier issues, not very popular in America. She probably wouldn't do very well. We would have to build her up. But there are potentially people that are really interesting that we could potentially bring in to build up in America. So we would have to look at who is available and who might be interesting to bring in. So certainly in the short list of companies to bring into the fold, Zero, again, maybe Tokyo Joshi. I don't know if they are already in an alliance or not. No, they're already in an alliance, yeah. Stardom, I believe, is already in an alliance. Ooh. In this save, they're not linked up with New Japan? Interesting. That would open us up to a plethora of really, really talented women. Obviously, looking out there, you have some outliers. You have Kairi Hojo, who's already popular immensely in America. Interesting. Huh. Dark Starlight Kid. Again, that's interesting. What do you guys think? Very, very quickly, that could be a really interesting addition to our alliance. And I'm leaning towards yes there. That might be our second member of the NWA. May actually be Stardom. That would give us a hell of a jump start on our women's division. Almost certainly our alliance title, I would suspect Allison Kay may be dethroned, but that is certainly fine. We would have to look. Alliances are a little bit difficult in terms of bringing talent over. Obviously, we can do talent trades. So, we have, for some reason, we have a talent trade agreement with Ring of Honor. The problems with these talent trades is that in this game, it's still kind of borked. I know I complain about this a lot. It's just very difficult to get anybody, like if I were to... They're like literally not interested in bringing anybody in at all. Not interested if female wrestlers like Allison Kay. Okay, well, maybe some. I'm not going to be interested in Brock Anderson. You interested in Colt Cabana? You give me Colt Cabana? So, depending on who it is, they're interested in a little bit. Ring of Honor. It's already a member, so that makes sense. But would they be interested in Allison Kay? They would be, for some. So you see, it can get kind of difficult because if you really don't have somebody, we could trade Dalton Castle for Allison Kay for 8 appearances. And you're limited in how many trades you can do. So it becomes a little bit difficult because that's about a 2-month kind of program that you can get out of Dalton Castle there. But you wouldn't be able to get the boys. Honestly, we would probably be able to just hire Dalton Castle. Depends on what the contracts look like. So that's always something to look out towards. But bringing some people in, might not be able to bring people in for a tournament from Stardom. Might be able to hire some anyways. Something to look at, but it's a very interesting prospect. Let me know what you guys think. If Stardom should be our second addition to the Alliance. And so we have MLW, who's a growing, strong, they're above us. So it's kind of interesting that we would be taking 2 people in that are bigger than us into the fold and leveraging them for our success. Kind of an interesting prospect. Anyways, we have another show to book. We got Worldwide in 6 days. Let's go ahead and let's get on to it. And we will reconvene here for our next episode. All right, Worldwide, here we are. Let's go ahead and medal. Ricky Starks and Nick Aldis don't like each other. Can we solve this problem? Let's try Zicky Dice, and Nick Aldis. Fairly high chance of succeeding and weakening their dislike of each other, just because people involved taking account of stats. So both are professional. Maybe we can. So we're going to set them down. You guys got beef. Can we squash it? No effect this time. We're going to work on that. Let's see if we can kind of build that down and hopefully help that out a little bit. 190 fans going to be in the GPT studios as always. Not going to be a sellout, but that's fine. Eventually, if we start to get some more momentum in terms of seating, and of course we could always drop ticket sales down, but I kind of want all the money. So eventually we might look at investing in building our own studio to grow. Might be an option to grow into. For now, we will use the public access studio. All right, let's go ahead. Let's put on a show. And I'll catch you guys on the flip. Alright guys, we are ready. Full show, 2 pre-show matches. Trying some interesting things out in the pre-show, so we'll kind of talk about that and see if it works. But otherwise, let's go ahead and let's take a look at what we have for our next episode of NWA Worldwide. So we start off with just a exhibition match pre-show with Casey Navarro versus Leland Race. Just want to see how they do. Again, trying to give Casey Navarro something to do, trying to see who he pairs well with. Interesting to note that Casey Navarro and Leland Race actually have great chemistry and showed their performance. So they did better than I would expect. Still not great, but honestly got a little bit more out of Leland Race than I would expect. We're going to keep that in the back of our head because that might not be a bad undercard feud. If I can get a 41 out of undercard, that's certainly not too bad. Might be something that we pull the trigger on at some point. It might end up helping Casey Navarro build up, but also help Leland Race kind of develop a little bit as well. And that's interesting. I'm happy with that. So this is one I kind of wanted to see how the audience would take it. We do not have intergender wrestling set up in the show, and I wasn't sure there was going to be a penalty. I set it up as a sort of a mixed match tag team. Now, normally in the real world, if you have a mainstream production, they don't like intergender matches, obviously. And one of the ways that companies like AEW and WWE have gotten away with it, sort of this like mixed match, it kind of a wrestling match where it's like tag teams and the women fight the women, men fight the men, and they never really interact. It's kind of there to protect a little bit of sponsorships, because people get a little sketched out, a little nervous when it comes to violence against women on TV and things like that. So I wanted to see if we could simulate that, or if there was going to be a penalty. So obviously Black Taurus and Alley Catch are sort of a thing in our save, and Alley Catch had been pretty impressive. So I kind of wanted to see if we could do anything with that. And Nick Aldis and Mickey James obviously are a couple, so wanted to see if there's any kind of chemistry between anybody and if anybody would freak out. It doesn't seem like we got any penalty for doing it this way, so I don't think there is a penalty for us. I'm not sure if that setting in the game is just for AI booking or whether there's actually a penalty applied. So it seems like we probably are pretty safe to do something like this in a storyline if we wanted to. Obviously, Black Taurus is in the Strongbow tournament, so probably not something that's going to happen for a bit. But I wanted to play around with the idea. Overall, this match is actually better than probably some matches we're going to have on the show today. So, not bad. I'm happy with that. Let's go ahead and let's start the show proper. We open with a promo between Kingston and Dustin Rhodes. There's a backstage scene. Dustin Rhodes comes to Eddie Kingston backstage, is obviously still upset about the Cody situation from last week. Eddie kind of fires off on him, goes, "You're dealing with your brother? He just injured someone for no reason. And to get to me, too." I was like, "Brother, I could take care of him if you..." And so he's kind of like storming around, and Dustin tries to cool him down. And he says, I'm talking to him. I sent him home. He's not here tonight. And I don't know what's getting into him, but I'm going to deal with that. But don't worry, I will deal with it. Now, that said, that does leave us a spot for the main event. And I have to say, I was really impressed by that match with you a few weeks ago against me. And I wanted to run it again. And, I wanted to see if I could get a chance to earn my win back. I think it would be good for the fans. So what do you say? Eddie having no qualms about it. Still kind of upset, though, that Dustin's really doesn't seem like he's taking the Cody situation too seriously. He nods, agrees to have the match tonight with Dustin. Segment does it pretty well. They have a good back and forth. So that said, we have a main event set up. Dustin versus Eddie Kingston. Number 2. I believe it's number 2. Might actually be number 3. Might be number 2. But Eddie won the first one. Dustin trying to kind of tie it up. Cody's not here tonight. He's been sent home. So shouldn't be any problems. Now, we have the next match in our Strongbow Memorial tournament to crown the television champion. This is obviously our round robin. It was okay. For the two people that are in it, this is kind of about what I expected. Got a decent reaction from the crowd. Had a good wrestling. Colby Corino finally gets his win. He had a 0-3 streak in this tournament so far. Now he is 1-3. Back in the board. Chris Adonis gets his second loss in the tournament. Overall, both of them did pretty good. Colby Corino had a 51. Chris Adonis had a 40. Ends up with a 48. Not bad for the undercard. Eddie Kingston in another segment. Eddie Kingston's all over the show. Right now, he's sort of just kind of a cameo backstage. He's prepping for his match. He's talking to Homicide. The cameras catch up with them in the parking garage where they hang out. Eddie's helping prep Homicide for his match tonight. Homicide obviously kind of called out Lance Archer, who's in the tournament as well, after kind of being a bully. And the camera crew was asking him, like, what's going on? You got a match tonight against Lance Archer. You called him out. You kind of confronted him last week. what's going through your head. And Homicide lays into it all, and he goes, Eddie and I here, we've dealt with this type of shit all of our lives. A big tough guy moves in to the block on your turf, and he starts acting like he owns the place. Starts messing with other people, messing with your area, and sometimes you just gotta whoop their ass back to where they came from. Let them know that you don't come in here. You don't act like you run the place. Lance Archer wants to be a big dog here. He wants to push people around and hurt people. All right. Well, you got to earn that right first. He says everybody dies. Well, we'll find out tonight. So Homicide kind of just saying Lance Archer's a bully. Can't come in here and be a bully. We'll have to see how that goes. Got the crowd hotter. Get to 53. Not bad. We have a match with Jamie Hayter versus Marty Bell. Marty Bell has 37. Jamie Hayter had a 47. Good heat, decent wrestling. Jamie Hayter obviously beats Marty Bell in 10 minutes, gives her a Falcon Arrow. Afterwards, we have a sort of promo. Coda interrupts Hayter's match. She's upset. She's disappointed in Jamie. Says that she knows that she's this internet fan favorite badass bitch currently. But she thinks she's turned soft. He's like, why would you protect these two people? Why did you even come here? Why are you getting in my business? Coda says that there's always a spot by her side if she wants it. Hayter grabs the mic and says, she's been in places where she's played second fiddle, and she's sick of all the cliques and all the thugs. She's sick of being looked over. She's not here to protect people out of kindness. I saved them to get to you. And she goes to attack Coda, but before she's stopped by Camille, who snuck up behind and is able to surprise attack her. She's held down by Camille, and then Coda leans in, and gives her a, if you wanted me, you got me, before giving her a big old boot to the face, smashing it right down her throat, practically. Gained some heat for the story, so it seems like Coda Kai, who's kind of had this sort of Mean Girls clique here with Camille and Marty Bell, has been picking on Kylie Ray and Delilah Doom. Hayter has been gotten involved here. Seemed like she was aligning with Kylie Ray, instead kind of providing the revelation here that no, she just wanted Coda Kai. So unfortunately she's got her, and unfortunately Camille and Marty Bell gives Coda Kai the numbers advantage here. This gains heat, does pretty good. Afterwards, we have a surprisingly underperforming segment here for what I expected. Ace Austin has a bizarre backstage promo. He's in darkness. He's in a boiler room. He's in a dark place. It's got little clips of him doing little magic tricks. And he goes and he says, I've made it known what I want, what I deserve, what was always mine. And I'm still being ignored. Well, sometimes actions can't be ignored. Sometimes you have to make deals with the devil to get it. And I will, if I need to. Yeah, I thought my message was clear. I thought that you understood what needed to be done, but I guess it wasn't. Perhaps it needs to be said louder. Perhaps it needs to be said clearer. I get what I want. I get a shot at NWA World's Champion. I get my title back. And if I continue to be ignored, I will continue to tear this whole thing down. The Andersons were the first, but they will not be the last. Austin is unhinged. He wants his damn rematch. He wants a shot at the title. And he is threatening to continue to be a disruption. He's attacking legends in the NWA. He's attacking Arn Anderson. He's attacking Brock, who gave him his first loss back. Obviously, he's fighting Pillman. He seems like he's gunning for everybody. Kind of going a bit mad, if you ask me. We have our other Strongbow tournament match between Homicide and Lance Archer, and it is a pretty brutal match. It's also an exceptional match. It's mayhem, it's chaotic, it's full of tables and everything you could think of. It's brutal. Homicide defeats Lance Archer in 13 minutes, gives Lance Archer his loss, gives him a gringo killer, and it's great. Lance Archer had a 68, Homicide had a 51. Lance Archer looking in amazing form, got the crowd buzzing. Obviously, Lance Archer's going to be pissed off at this, but we wanted to give him a loss here. Felt like a good opportunity to do it, and Homicide gets an important win for him. Got the crowd buzzing, so pretty good match. Backstage, we have an interview with the Von Erichs, Kevin Von Erichs being sort of the voice of this. And this is probably going to be the one that hurts us the most here, this booking decision. But we haven't had the tag teams on in a while. Our tag team division is a little weak. So opportunity is, how do we get the tag teams in a story? And we decide to run this, and we'll see if this was a mistake or not. But we're kind of locked in now. Kevin talks about, tag team landscape here, and goes like, there's a lot of great competitors, and my sons are the champion, and the thing is the Von Erich legacy is always about being fierce competitors, being noble, being strong, and being fighting champions. My boys, just the same. They're looking out there, they're looking for challenges, and they're looking to earn their spot in the top. They don't want to just hold this belt. They want to earn it. Recently, people were making waves online about a dark match we had a couple weeks ago with the Order. Is two bright competitors from abroad. In some ways, part of the royal family of British wrestling. Well, we think this is a great opportunity. That's why we went to Dustin, and he agreed. Order versus the Von Erichs. We put the titles on the line in a best-of-5 series with the Knights. So, Ricky Knight, Zach Knight, gonna be facing the Von Erichs in a best-of-5 series. Now, their matches didn't do great. They did fine. So, that's sort of where we're at there, but I'm hoping that after 5 matches with the Von Erichs, maybe we can help boost the Order's popularity in America a bit. That's ultimately the goal, and I'm going to be sacrificing some segment ratings for popularity gain. That's my hope. So, best of 5, I don't think we'll run into repeat booking issues there. I was a little concerned about a best of 7, and I think that's too long, so we'll probably have 4 or 5 matches between the two. Gives the Von Erichs something to do. And, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. That first match is tonight, so we'll see how that shakes up. We got Aaron Stevens and Colt Cabana versus Carlito and Eddie Colon. Obviously, Clone Dynasties versus Colt and Aaron have been going for a bit. Carlito and Eddie defeat Aaron this time. Carlito pins Colt Cabana with a backstabber following interference with Orlando Colon. So again, we got kind of this story of this numbers disadvantage for Colt and Aaron. They need to find someone else to assist here. This gains heat for the storyline. Carlito was off his game. Overall, 53 is totally fine. It's well within exactly kind of what we were expecting this match to do. So it's actually at the highest end, and that's probably because we have some pretty good heat for this storyline. So overall, pretty happy with it. Is it going to get us a 63 tonight? Probably not, but overall, still happy. Afterwards, we have a post-match brawl. Cologne's beat him up 3-2. Just kind of reiterating, they need to find a partner. They need to find somebody out there that's going to help them out, even this up. We need to find a way to end this feud. We need a third man. We're kind of reiterating it. Who's it going to be? We don't know. But obviously, we're kind of building that repeat momentum. It's like poetry. It rhymes, right? We're kind of going through it. So we're trying to kind of hint at we need a third guy for Aaron and Colt here. Actually, not that bad. 46 for this match. Match 1 versus the Order and the Von Erichs in our 5-match series. Von Erichs defeat the Order in 11 minutes. Marshall pins Roy with a moonsault. We gain heat for our storyline, the best of 5. So not bad. Everybody doing really good. My goal here, hopefully, is to boost up Zach and Roy here. Why did I say Ricky? Ricky's also on here, but it's Zach and Roy night. We have all 3 nights here, but they're 38-35. A lot of that has to do with just popularity problems. So can we boost them up? That's kind of the experiment. Ross and Marshall aren't like spectacular. They're 49-41, but giving them a good storyline, getting them to work together, maybe we can help boost it. It gives the tag team division something to do. Hopefully it works out okay. Overall, though, I'm actually pretty satisfied with the 46. I thought we were going to be in the low 40s, high 30s. So, if we continue to advance the storyline and gain some heat, we might be able to build something nice out of here and get something beneficial. Allison Kay versus Ramona Riot in a exhibition match. Allison Kay has been on the show a lot, so it's an opportunity to have a pretty good match. Give Ramona Riot something to do. Give our women's champion something to do. Not much storyline here. Allison Kay is our champion, fighting people. Not much to say about it. Allison Kay defeats Ramona Riot in 10 minutes by a cutthroat. Gets us to 60. Can't complain about it. Not a lot of story to it. Just good match to build both of them up. And Dustin versus Eddie. It's pretty good. This could have been better, certainly. But it's probably some management issues in terms of we didn't cool the crowd down. Got the crowd buzzing. Eddie had a 78. He's in fantastic form right now. Dustin's a 49. We're not going to get a lot out of him, but we know he's going to be pretty consistent. Dustin gets his win back against Eddie here. 20 minutes by pinfall. It was a longer match. It was a spectacle. We tried to build story to it, so Eddie really worked well here. Overall, 60 is pretty solid. Afterwards, the cryptic nature of Ace Austin's message earlier comes to fruition. He comes out of nowhere. He attacks Dustin with a chair. Dustin's just getting chair-shotted left and right lately. Eddie tends to him. So we have a couple ways to go with it. Ace Austin obviously is now moving on to Dustin. He hinted that the Rhodes could be in line for his attacks as well. So we could move Ace Austin into a storyline with Dustin. We could have him wrap up with Pillman. We could move Eddie into a situation with Austin. So we have a lot of different avenues of how we kind of approach this. But what I kind of wanted to do is, with this whole thing, is to have sort of multiple storylines involving the same people kind of happening and overlapping. So, Ace Austin's got this thing going on with Pillman. Eddie Kingston's got this partnership with Homicide, and maybe that leads into a problem with Lance Archer. And then Cody's got this problem with Dustin brewing, but also Dustin and Eddie are kind of in this little bit of friendly rivalry. And then Ace Austin's also got this Arn Anderson thing. And then Ace Austin's also got this Cody thing. And then Cody thing's got this Eddie thing. So I kind of wanted all of them to overlap a little bit so that there's multiple little things going on at once. And it wasn't like the situation where everybody's kind of broken up and doing their own little thing. So that's sort of my experiment here. Eddie somehow struggled going off script. How? I don't know. He was just acting, but Ace Austin did well. Overall, I expect this to do a little bit better in terms of just performance, but it is what it is. So now at this point, we'll have to see how Dustin reacts, how Eddie reacts, how Cody reacts, how Austin, all the pieces are coming together here. And that ends our show. 59, it's a little bit weaker. We kind of expected that, but still a shame. But we learned a lot. We moved a lot of storylines around, and ultimately we gained some popularity in all 18 regions that watched us, so can't complain too much. All right, guys. So 17,000 viewers, pretty damn solid, I think. I would imagine that the show was awesome. So not much else to say about it. I think that was a really solid show. I think we did pretty well. Big question is expanding the alliance. Do we bring Stardom in? I mean, I don't see a reason why it would be a bad idea, but I'm certainly would be interested in hearing what your thoughts are on the proposition. Anyways, that was it for me. Might be a bit of a week delay. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to get another episode in, obviously with the holiday. So if you don't see me, have a great new year, everybody, and have a great holiday. And I'll catch me next time for another episode of NWA Dynasty. Thanks for watching, guys.